four-wheelered out here an hour to a place we've come before and had a little bit of success a few years ago. But we're gonna hunt this patch of aspens up in here. 3 years ago there was a ton of elk in here, and then the last 2 years there have been 0 elk. No fresh sign or anything, but that's the nature of this country, is there's these patches like this, and sometimes there's elk in there and it's cool hunting, and sometimes there's not. So he's using a crossbow. The nice thing about hunting alone is that you can rack an arrow and then just take off with it. Otherwise it would be a little bit dangerous. It's got a scope and everything. One thing that has me a little nervous is there's no rain in the forecast, but there are storm cells that roll across here. And this low one is starting to capture the top of the mountain right there. If it keeps coming, you can almost feel moisture in the air, so I don't want to get rained on. Up on top, super beautiful morning. Every little valley looking out across has got clouds in it or mist in it. These low clouds are blowing in here, starting to take in the top of the mountain. So, and Mark's hunting from down on the bottom, coming up. There's a huge basin in it. He's shooting gold tip Hunter 340s with I think it's a Muzzy fixed broadhead, Hunter grain I think. So, and this kills animals. So, last animal I killed with it was a 5-point bull elk with a brisket shot from 20 yards straight through the heart. And I'm gonna glass something. I think I see animals. So there's a nice bull in there with them. There's about 6 cows and 1 big bull. But I'm trapped behind my 4-wheeler because the clouds have moved out now. I'm trying to get that bull's on the skyline. I wish I had a better zoom on here. You can't really see him. But he's right there. The cows are down in here now, and he's right on the ridge line. He's a decent 5x5, maybe a 6x6. Really chocolate brown with ivory tips, dark brown and really ivory tips. So it'd be a pretty bull to take. But I need them to come down just 30 yards to get into that deeper stuff, and then I can make a move. And I think I might be able to call him down into this. If I can get into here, I know the trail that goes across here. If I can get them to come into that thick stuff there, then I can call them into this meadow and shoot him. So those elk they moved down the ridge a bit, and they're right here. And the bull went into this thicker stuff. I think that's where they're gonna bed, but at least 3 of the cows are still just standing out there. But I almost belly crawled over this lip, or tried to walk straight back away from this and get on the other side of this ridge and hook around. I've been standing here over an hour trying to get Mark on the radio so he doesn't bump him. I don't know if you can see Mark. That's him right there. Unbeknownst to me, all of a sudden I see their heads whip around. They had moved down. I I see their heads whip around and they're looking down. I thought Mark must be down past that red patch, the way they were looking. But then all of a sudden I see them turn and run, and I see Mark come booking out. He was probably 30 yards from him, just down from him, and right there at the cows and the bull. I'm guessing he was looking at the cows and could have shot them, but was waiting to see the bull. But then they spooked out. So close. That's why he probably hasn't been radioing back to me, because he worked his way up to him and was like, probably shut off his radio because he was annoyed that I was calling him. I thought he'd be down further, but there he is on the ridge line. Having trouble getting my... There he is. Right there. Darn it. I'll go meet him now. Make a plan. We were up on the ridge and I spotted a spike elk running across that meadow there. And we called and we think we got him stopped. And we came down out of sight. Mark's at this bush here. And I'm back here calling and moving, trying to get him to pop out down at the bottom. We keep hearing him do that. Well, yeah, hear that spike bugle? I don't know if you heard that, but it's just a kind of a wimpy pop. So we're calling and we've got a good setup. Mark's got the crossbow and I'll just keep working in an arc here. In case something pops out here, I've got my bow, but we'll give Mark the shot. Hopefully he gets one. We've got a bull of some kind crashing in the timber right here. Something's coming. Mark's set up. I can't go any further back. I think he's trying to circle to get the wind because the breeze is coming this way. Pretty exciting. So I pulled back about 100 yards from Mark and I'm calling, maybe 70 yards from Mark. And I heard more crashing on the timber. I'm trying to pull that bull out right to Mark. So I'm hoping this works. He's right in there. I think there's that bull in there that we bumped and that spike. Hopefully we get that spike out of there. I guess Mark shot him. He just radioed me. I'm gonna head over. So exciting, it worked. That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome. I was recording as I went back and like, this is what should happen. And then I thought I heard the twang of an arrow. And I was like, I don't know if that was it or not. But so when you radioed, I was like, yeah. So I was sitting down at the base of this first bush. So my shooting lane was between that bush and this bush. And he was coming, he was walking pretty quickly. And sauntering, you know. And I thought, okay, if he goes any more, then he's gonna be outside my shooting lane. And I'm gonna have to like really reposition to turn my whole body. Yeah. So I took the shot, what I guess would about 40 yards. Sweet. Because up there, I was telling Mark, I watched everything happen up there. Oh, we didn't record Mark telling what he did. He was working across the face below me when I radioed and said they're up on the ridge. Well, he thought he was headed to the other ridge, and then he saw them and worked his way up and got right to within them. But the bull never saw Mark, and I don't think the cows did either, but the one cow did. But so we came down here working a spike we saw, but we assumed the bull was in here with the cows. And he was. Yeah, and he was. And I told Mark that I thought that the way that the bull kept sniffing the air with the cows around him just every so often and then walking towards them and then they'd move away, he was ruddy. And so obviously he was, because he came right into the call, and it worked so perfect, just circling back like that.
So I saw the animal like coming out, expecting it to be the spike, and then like looking, giving him the elevator eyes. I realized it was the herd bull that we had bumped earlier, and he was on this trail, and I just couldn't believe that he was gonna just walk right to me.
I know.
But my
Well, that
distance was limited based on my
this
shooting
is
range.
perfect. That, you know what, if you're by yourself calling, he's not walking. He's gonna come to the edge and look for that cow. But because he's hearing the noises come from way over there,
He's gonna go half that distance.
yeah, he's gonna go and see what's over there.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, but so he like stepped back and he was like wobbly. I thought he was just gonna like flop down and like tumble down the hill, but and he, you know, regained his balance. And, I mean, it almost looked like I could see an exit wound on his,
I'm sure
on
he
his
did.
right heel side.
If he is that wobbly, we just need to give him plenty of time to expire.
So I always forget how my scope is ranged. So I put this label here. So my first dot on the reticle is 15 and 20 yards. Second dot's 25. Third dot's 30 and 35. Fourth dot 40. And then the post at the bottom of the reticle is 40, 45, right?
And he was at that bush at 50, but inside of it, so 40, 45.
Yeah. So I was just concentrating, you know, fourth dot, fourth dot, fourth dot to make sure that I'm like targeting with that dot. And I think I still hit a little lower than I was expecting. So he might have been, you know, 45 yards
instead of 40. But
and
that's almost better, because you probably took out the heart and the bottom of the lungs.
Yeah.
So he's probably laying right in there, but we're gonna wait an hour just in case. We didn't mention is both of us bought these Phelps easy suckers, and this is what we used to call that bull in, and this is my favorite call before this even happened. I mean, it's the first time we've used them. But I always have my calls freeze up because I do a lot of late season hunting with a cow tag. And here in Wyoming, it just gets cold so soon. And they freeze up. I don't know if I have a lot of saliva or what. Or I'll bend the reed over because I like to keep it hung around my neck for all my hunting. If I need to stop a deer or anything. Just with a quick cow call. But it's so nice because this is all rubberized and so small. It's the perfect call, in my opinion, and it just, you can make all kinds of sounds with it. But it's just perfect. I like it. Pulled a herd bull away from 6 cows. Hopefully it's dead. Still sitting here waiting. It's been 45 minutes, I think. It's been an hour. It's been an hour. We're gonna go look for blood. Hopefully if we see a lot of blood, we'll go in after it. So we finally found blood. We were looking for like 20 minutes, and that looks like it's lung. Got a bunch of bubbles in it, so we were looking all up there. And I finally said, oh, well, we gotta swing down lower, so I'm guessing he went in right here. Okay, we moved the side-by-side down there. Where's that? Right there. And I brought the game packs up. We're back to the spot. I'm sweaty, and we're about to go in. I hiked up, drove all the way around. So this is the moment.
The moment.
See if it's, is that radio flopping out?
Yeah, I think it's on there.
Okay. Here we go. We'll find out. It's 11:40 or so, so it's been 2.5 hours since it was shot. Well, it's been a couple of hours, and the blood trail ran out 100 yards in. Strong blood trail, just poof, gone. So we've been just crisscrossing back and forth through this big patch from one side to the other. I was coming back in this way and the blood trails ended way up there. I bumped a whole bunch of elk. They were all bedded in here. You see their beds here. There's one there with fresh urine and fresh droppings. Fresh urine here. Just making sure it's not blood like that bull joined up with his cows again. Oh, it's urine. Another bed here. Fresh urine. And then there's several more beds all the way up through here. So I'm gonna probe around this area just in case somehow he was able to rejoin his cows and this was them and he's expired in here somewhere. But this is a crazy snarl. I've never seen that strong of blood with all the foam in it and the bubbles from the lungs, tissue, all the way in. But nothing. It's so thick in here too. There's trails, but it gets thick real quick through here. So, search continues. So I rejoined Mark up there, not far, and we took the blood trail to the edge here, and then came down I looped through there twice where these were bedded, and we picked up blood again and followed it all the way down, and there's actually drops on this stick in this bed that I was just standing in that I filmed from. So it's kind of crazy. Well, it's I think 3 o'clock. So we were in there for hours and hours and just went all through there. And the blood ended at those beds, and I had bumped them when I had circled back, but I never saw them. They just skedaddled. And then we looked and looked and looked for another couple hours for blood and never saw it. So, such an exciting and cool, amazing hunt this morning. It just went perfect. Darn it. It's always a bummer for the animal and for us. But mostly for the animal. He's out there with an arrow in him somewhere. But we'll probably come back tomorrow and hunt these draws and see if he's out there with his cows. I'm guessing he's not. I'm guessing he's gonna fire tonight in his bed. But that blood trail was really strange. I've never had one like that. That's what happens when you don't have an exit wound. So I'm assuming there's no exit wound based on the blood trail. So. Darn it. We'll keep looking, but this might be one of those that stinks hunts. And you can see one boot print, 2 boot prints. So 2 feet of a blood pool, and then it ran down there, and then it ran all the way down here. So it's 1, 2, it's 4 boot prints, 4 feet, top to bottom of blood trail. And even now, I'm standing right here and I smell elk, and we are so certain that. Well, we came back up on top here. Super pretty views. And came back up on top and we worked over the top part of the timber, just zigzagging back and forth close enough together that we could see a dead elk if there was one, and bump him up if he was still down, still could get up, and then
Mark's dad is sitting at the very bottom on a four-wheeler. He joined us at about 3 o'clock once we were exiting. So, and he had watched for an hour and a half before that and never saw elk leave this timber. So, I'm gonna go back around and go to the bottom and work a little more of the bottom while Mark's still in there pushing around. Such a bummer of a day. It was so cool. It just worked perfectly. The perfect elk hunt. Great morning, beautiful weather. I went back and looked at the original blood, and I'm like, I've never seen something like that, and the animal's not down within 40 yards. So it's just crazy. Total bummer. Feel bad for the animal. Real bad for the animal. So. But anyway, this is the second time I've been around someone that had this happen. So. I'll get down there and do some more hiking. I'm exhausted though.